It's time to implement our hurtbox and hitbox system on the player. We're going to come into our player scene right here. We'll just click this to open it up. We're going to attach a new, not a new node, but a new scene. We'll instance a new hurtbox scene on the player. Right click, editable children. Let's create a new rectangle shape. And click, hold control so I can get pixel snap. And click, hold control again. Hold control again. And there we go. We've made a rectangle shape. Another thing you could do is actually take the player's rectangle shape here and save this as its own shape. And we're actually going to do that. So let's click this little, so I clicked on the collision shape for our player, clicked on this little arrow. We'll do save. Under the player folder, we'll call this player collider maybe. Collider like that. And then in our hurtbox one, we can actually just drag the player collider right here, and it's the same resource. We're going to have other colliders, we're going to have other areas and stuff attached to our player for detecting different things, and we want to use the same collider for every single one. That's the benefit of doing that. Now we can set up the collisions for our hurtbox. We want to put this on the player hurtbox layer. Save. We need to attach the signal, the hit signal from our hurtbox to the player. We'll make a function for this as well. And we're not going to actually put anything in here yet because we need to set up some other stuff first. So first we'll come up to the top. Mouse is giving me some issues here. We'll come up to the top and we'll create a new variable called invincible. And we'll set this equal to false. And we're also going to have a setter and a getter. And the reason we want that is because we want to be able to animate this property. So set, get, set, invincible. So we'll create this function. Come down here. Value. Invincible equals value. Like this. Okay, so now we have a setter and a getter for invincible. We're going to attach so what we're doing here basically is we want our player to go invincible for a few frames after getting hit so that we can take a hit from an enemy and then be safe for a period of time. And generally during that period of time, we'll do a blinking animation. So we've set our invincible. Our hurtbox can now detect when we've been hit, right? And so now we're going to set up an animation player. And we'll call this blink animator. Like that. My mouse is really struggling. I'm going to drag it up by the other one. We'll come into here and we'll get access to this on ready var blink animator. There we go. Once we've gotten access to that, we want to actually set up the animation. So let's come down into our make sure you've clicked on blink animator and not sprite animator. We'll create a new animation. We'll call it blink. It's going to be 0.9 long. And we will zoom in just a bit to help so we can see this better. Now we'll click on the player sprite and go into inspector, and we can actually key the visibility property here. So we'll turn off visibility, we'll key it, create key. Then we'll come to here, we'll turn it on and key it. We'll come to here, turn it off and key it. And then we'll continue with this pattern. So it starts off on and then it blinks on and off. Like this. There we go. And we also need to set our character to be invincible. So we're going to add a new track, a new call method track on player. Right click, insert a new key, set invincible. We need to click on this key, come over to arguments, set it to a Boolean, and set it to true, so we'll be invincible. Save, then come to the end of the animation, right click, insert key, set invincible, again, click on it, click on args, set it to a Boolean, and set it to false. And you should see down here, set invincible true, set invincible false. And I'll just leave this at the end of this animation so that we're visible, because if you set it to the start, we'll be invisible. So we'll just leave it at the end for now. We can come back into our player here, and we can, inside of, if we take a hit, we'll say if not invincible, blink animator dot play blink. So if we're not invincible, we'll play our blink animator like that. And then we can come into our enemy. The base enemy scene. So the one that all enemies will inherit from. We're going to add a new hurtbox or a hitbox. And that's it. Well, we can set the collision mask to look for the player hurtbox. So this should look for and only collide with the player hurtbox. Now that collision mask doesn't seem to be working, so we may have to set that in our walking enemy anyway. So open up your walking enemy now, come into your hitbox collision, and it looks like it worked this time. I don't know why, but that's fine. Now we're going to right click on that and do editable children collider. Click on the collider. We'll add a new rectangle shape. And I like this collider to be pretty much just lined up with the spikes on the It's kind of hard to see. Let me hide my other colliders so you guys can see. Hide and hide. So yeah, basically it lines up kind of more with the spikes here than it does with the actual enemy. So it's a little bit of a smaller collision box to make it so that it's a little lenient for the player. And I think that should be good. We should be able to take a hit from the enemy now. And our character starts blinking for a few seconds after we take a hit. And during that time, we're invincible. And you can see that works quite well. We still need to figure out this. Every time I see that, it drives me crazy. I think there's just multiple points on that path, but we'll figure that out later. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. I'll see you all in the next one.